Hello and welcome. This is, of course, Budweiser's Kings of Football show. I am Folajimi Oluwasegun James Akinshola, but you can simply call me King Jimmy. Yes, of course, wherever you're watching and listening to us right now, whether you're on our X Space, listening to the space right now, or you're watching on YouTube, or you're even watching on your television sets, we welcome you to the show that takes focus with the English Premier League and, of course, has the ability to get veterans and, of course, very, very insightful pundits to come and analyze the game of football. Now, of course, every weekend is not complete if you don't have two things: football and the king of beers. That is, of course, Budweiser's. Big shout out to them. Remember, courtesy of Budweiser, we will be giving out a lot of stuff. You stand a chance to win many prizes. Lots of cash as well will be given out. So all you got to do is keep it locked right here. When it's time, I will give out the question that can give you a chance to win big. Remember, our predictor platform is very much open, where you stand a chance to predict and, of course, win lots of money. All right, starting off with an individual. As you know, I'm never alone. I never really walk alone, but I'm not from Merseyside. Ladies and gentlemen, he's very, very close to Merseyside, but not doing as good as Merseyside is doing at the moment. A big welcome to the show for our very own BK, Biola Kazim.
Hey, Jimmy.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man.
I'm assuming you have finally come out of hiding because a certain team has been doing a lot of scoring. 4, 5, 6... against opponents that, we should be beating. They don't. Do you have an answer to this team that has been scoring so much?
What team? A lot of teams scoring in the Premier League.
Let me remind you. It's just 3 times I'll say it. Arsenal, Arsenal, Arsenal.
Jimmy, all of these things will matter for naught if you don't win the league. We've been here before, right? You ran to Rwanda.
I don't think we were
Why
here.
are you going to run to
I don't
this
think we
time?
were here
Marrakesh.
exactly.
Marrakesh.
It wasn't. You had to, huh? It wasn't this good in terms of Arsenal playing.
I will admit, Arsenal look really, really, really good.
Yeah, I'm even scared.
Hurts me to say it, but the truth is the truth, right? They look really, really good, particularly since the turn of the year, right?
Yeah.
They've always been structured and organized, but it just looks like things went to a different level. Defensively, extremely compact, very difficult to break down. And going forward, they are creating lots and lots of chances, obviously scoring goals. Just as we're, speaking in the mode of like an Ivan Toney, a Haaland, a designated striker, right? So they did Nketiah thing, worked a little bit. Gabriel Jesus, you can see bits and pieces of what he brings, but it just doesn't come together. Recently, we've seen Kai Havertz, who has been bashed heavily, playing that false nine role. And so it's, you look at Arsenal and how well they're playing now, and you wonder how much better they would even be if they now get a proper finisher, right? So, like I said, hurts me that Arsenal are doing well, but the flip side is you're my guy and you're happy. And a happy Jimmy, it's not such a bad thing. I'm a good guy.
I'm happy. I mean, it's clear I'm happy. I'm smiling from ear to ear.
Yeah, that's the sacrifice I made. That's a sacrifice I
managed to kick Puja out the studio as well because I don't need bad energy. Speaking of someone that we've not been able to get back in the studio, but he's with us and he might not be happy about the way, I'm smiling as well, gloating and making everybody feel like, ooh, here come the Arsenal. He is a man that I respect so much. He's a veteran. He is a man that should be having legendary status when it comes to football within the Nigerian fold. He's a midfield general. He is, of course, a man that is giving back to the community as well. He played in the Premier League. He's, in fact, Premiership. It was Premiership when he played in the league at the time. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome onto the space and onto the show the one and only Seyi Olofinjana. I love your name, bro.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. Thank you very much, guys. Jimmy, you can try as hard as you can. You can't really bribe me with those accolades you're throwing on me. Arsenal will not win the league. I don't care what anybody says. I love what you guys are doing at the moment. Breath of fresh air. Ateta is doing a wonderful job. But we've been here, like Kazim said, we've been here for so many years now. Something always happens at the final hurdle. For Ateta's sake, I wish something positive happens. I really want him to win the league. But I don't see it happening just yet. I don't think so. Well, thank you very much for having me.
I'm glad to have 2 Manchester United fans in the studio. I'm going to talk about Manchester, but not just your team. I'm sure it will pain you even more to discuss about your noisy neighbors. Ladies and gentlemen, our hot take today goes like this. Will Manchester City, and I'm talking to you, Biola and Shay, will Manchester City go on their usual end of season run again to win the title, starting with, obviously, Liverpool?
It's a difficult call. They don't travel well to Liverpool. Liverpool are they're usually up for the big games at Anfield.
Right.
I imagine that Liverpool will be on, up for this. But that said, it's City have won the league for 3 years, on the trot. So that definitely counts for something. It's not just the ability that they have, but also the know-how. You get used to winning, so to speak. You almost so the club demands it, the coach demands it. But when players win consistently, they start to expect that from themselves. And that's something. So can they go on their end of the season run that they always? Absolutely. There's nothing to stop them. Kevin De Bruyne is back, his feet. All of their key players. That spine of City, Haaland, Rodri, KDB, and Diaz at the back, is extremely solid. A small point to note as well is that Ederson, who hardly, has to be called to action or has to be spectacular, has been a lot better this season, right? So there's nothing to suggest that City will not go on that run. I know that Liverpool and Arsenal will push them up till the end. Right. But like I said, you see that late run that they do every year, it's not just down to ability. It's down to mentality. They almost, as a reflex, expect themselves
inevitability.
Yeah, they expect themselves, to go on and do enough to win the league. Like I said, I feel like Arsenal and City will push them a lot more than they did last season. So, for instance, I don't expect the kind of capitulation that Arsenal, had last season, where the West Ham game, the Southampton game, you can see some more emotional maturity and almost a sense that we are now ready from Arsenal as well. Right. So, City clearly, if they want to win the league this year, have to do at the end of the season. If they don't do that end of the season, they're not going to win the league. They have to do it.
All right, Shay, let's look at their potential running. Do you see any possible bananas peel on the road to this run that we expect Man City to make? I mean, last season, I don't think there was any stumbling block other than Arsenal at the time. And once they beat Arsenal, it was inevitable that they were going to win the league. Is that going to be the case this season? Once they beat Arsenal, if they beat Arsenal again, it's theirs to take?
Again, I second what Kazim said, with the fact that these guys, Guardiola and the team, know what it looks like. The business end of the season, around this time, they know how to come alive. I said a few weeks back when I came on the show that they've got 2 new players, 2 new signings in January, in Haaland, who was injured, and Kevin De Bruyne. With those 2 alone, just coming into their form right now, anything and everything is possible.
Is it different for Man City having to chase or be chased? Does that change the mindset in terms of how? Because remember, Arsenal is chasing with a different vigor this season.
Yeah.
They're playing out of their skin. They've never played this good in a long time. And even their rivals are kind of scared of what they can do.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a different kettle of fish in terms of who's chasing you. But you also have Liverpool that is a strong enough team that has chased you before and beaten you. The last team that actually even beat you was Liverpool.
Yeah.
So does that make this particular title run a lot different from the usual, from the last 3?
Absolutely. I mean, the dynamics of this title race, as with every title race, is a little bit different. This is a bit more complex. Now you've got 2 teams on your back. All of the teams, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man City. My thing is, the run-ins, when you look at title run-ins, typically we highlight the tough teams that either side will have to play.
Yep.
And then when you feel like one club has more bigger sides to play, you always feel like they're at a disadvantage. But history has shown us that teams typically trip up in games against the teams that you do not expect.
Right.
And so I typically don't look at run-ins as an indicator of who might go on to win. The emotional maturity, so Alex calls it squeaky bum time. The reality of the matter is that we're at the end of the finish line. A lot of things come into play.
So can you highlight a possible trip-up game for Man City in this running?
I mean, so again, it's difficult.
Aside the big, obviously, Arsenal, Liverpool.
Like I said, it's difficult to highlight one particular. I'll give you an example. Last season, if we were going to highlight the trip-up game for Arsenal, it could never be Southampton at Emirates. That was Southampton that had gone down, right? 2-0 up in 10 minutes. One of the 2 goals were gifts by Arsenal players to Southampton. What would that suggest? That's not bad coaching. That's not bad technique. Psychologically, they just didn't feel entitled to the title. And so self-sabotage. Because eventually, what comes out is a reflection of what is inside of you. And then, for instance, Saka was playing well, had a penalty against, because I said to people how close Arsenal were to winning the league last season. Beat Southampton at home, beat West Ham, Arsenal are champions. These are games that were in Arsenal's hands easily. And that was a title that was thrown away. So it's difficult to highlight, because if I'm going to look at a game, you can't look at Man City at the Etihad.
Right.
City themselves last season, remember, were 2-0 down against Aston Villa at home. Liverpool will have run away with the title. It was that close. So it's difficult to highlight a game. I'm just saying that in looking at running, it's important not just to look at the big games that you have to play, but the games that look like you can take for granted are the ones that... I remember Manchester United losing the league title by not being able to beat West Ham at home.
Right.
And when history is told, if you look at how well Arsenal are playing this season, and you now go back to last season, you wonder how did this Arsenal side, with 90% of the same players this season,
not have
lose
enough
at
mental
home
toughness to
to
do the job.
to a Southampton that had no dog in the fight. They were relegated. they were not chasing anything.
True.
Right? So that it's psychology that kicks in. How well do you want it? And that's where I feel like City just have this running kick, that they get. It's not down to coaching. It's almost reflex action. They are used to it. They do it literally every year. It's almost as though, guys, all this one we've been doing before, we are playing, the title is just 10 games away. We do what we do, and they go on and win the title. And that's what Arsenal and Liverpool have to respond to.
Shay, do you think that this sense of entitlement that Manchester City might have, because they've won it 3 times in a row, they should have that sense of entitlement? If there's anyone that feels like it's their property, it's them. Do you think that sense of entitlement can play a negative a role in this title run for them?
Absolutely, yes. If Pep Guardiola would ever come out in the media and say that to you, but in-house, you'll be thinking, well, we've been there. Man City is such a big club. Pep Guardiola is such a good manager. If he's chasing you, you're in trouble. If you're chasing him, he doesn't phase him.
Yeah.
Now, of the 3 managers that are contending for the title, Arteta has a lot more fear, a lot more to lose. In the fact that he's a young manager, he's not been here many times. Jurgen Klopp has done it for all his career. Guardiola has. So if you ask me, the only way Arsenal will win this title comfortably is to sit down in third and then hope for a trip up. Last 2 games, something happens, they climb and they win the league. If he was to top the table right now, he'll be under so much pressure, and without knowing it, he will pass on the pressure to the players. And that does disrupt the whole thing, because this title race now with 10, 11 games to go, you lose 2 games, done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Finished.
We will be moving on from this hot topic right now. It's time for us to obviously get some comments from X Space. So we're going to our X Space now. I see our man Pooja is also listening on there. How you doing, Pooja? We appreciate you. I have an Arsenal fan here, Ekue. I hope I didn't murder your name. Ekue. Go ahead and speak to me. So do you think Man City can do it again?
No.
Do you think Arsenal will do it?
Why not? 100%.
You're all predictable.
Mentality.
You're all predictable. No modesty.
More.
But I'm here being modest now. What do you mean? I'm being modest. Okay, I'm not. So talk to me.
Arsenal both win.
Yeah.
Arsenal, but look at it. Look at it. Arsenal have gone 7 games without losing, back to back. Liverpool 3, Sheffield 4, Sheffield 5, Newcastle 4, Newcastle 3. All those teams, we struggled against them first half of the season. Yes or no? Yes. We struggled against them first half of the season. Now, West Ham, we lost 2-0, we won 6-0. Newcastle, we lost 1-0, we won 4-1.
I love the emphatic energy. I love it. Henry C., you're a Liverpool fan. Talk to me.
Yeah, good morning, bro. Thanks for having me.
How you doing? Tell me, do you think Manchester City can do this run again?
They have been there before. I think they are the most experienced team among the 3.
Okay.
If I'm being honest. For me, I'm not writing them off. They have the experience, they have the manager, they have the know-how. Everything is in with them to do it again. But I just hope and pray, because it's not going to be nice for the league for them to win it again.
All right. Thank you for that opinion. I appreciate you. Before we do anything else, let me just straight go to Shay. The reason why you're not higher up on the table is because of the form you had at the beginning of the season, having lost so many games at the start of the season. So if you were to take one thing away from this season from Manchester United, considering where your position right now, what would that one thing be?
Well, it's in the fact that as much as we have been back and forth with our performances this season, we're still there or thereabout, 6th, hanging in there still. When you begin to look at the way we play sometimes as a football club, you wonder how we have attained that position. So we're doing the business, we're winning the odd games, but it's in the fashion we're doing it that is not acceptable. And that's why it looks like, okay, well, they should be 18th, but actually they're 6th. So still keeping that momentum, still keeping that sort of unacceptable by Manchester United standard, but again still there and or thereabouts. I think Eric got surprised by the Premier League again in the fact that when he came in, we're going to sign players for you, which they did, and all of a sudden I think they allowed him a free hand to sort of bring a few players that hasn't worked. So it's a little bit shell shocked. I think there was a bit of a small disrespect to the Premier League in terms of let me bring the players I know. They did well for me in my former club. Now they will do well here. No, this is the Premier League. And I think he got surprised. And he's going to do this somber as a result.
Right. Fair enough. Let me ask you the same thing. You've seen your United side.
Yeah.
They flatter to deceive him most times. Some people are even discussing about the uncertainties of Eric Ten Hag's position. Ineos is in now. Ratcliffe is talking big, talk about the new stadium. We want to do things
Big
different.
things popping, bro. Big
things popping, but so far so good. Still small things going on.
Yeah, started like that with Arsenal. I thought that was it twice.
Stop being a voyeur.
Before he became fifth.
Stop being a voyeur. Stick to your house. Stop looking at mine. I'm talking about you right now. How does this even concern Arsenal?
Just setting an example, right?
Oh my God.
He enriches the conversation.
I beg, let me land my question. So you've been struggling for consistency all season, like you said. If you were to take away anything from the season as a Manchester United fan, saying, okay, as bad as the season was, at least.
I'll take the emergence of Kobe Meno.
Player of the goal of the month.
Yep, and to some extent, Garnacho. Kobe Meno more so because, we knew in preseason that he had something. But obviously, you have to see how he adapts to the pressure of the league and how he takes on the challenge. And boy, has he taken on the challenge. In the middle, in the midfield with Casemiro, with McTominay, with Eriksen, maybe to some extent, even Bruno Fernandes is the calmest head. You can almost even suggest that he's the most intelligent of the lot. His passing is crisp. His understanding of space is unreal for his age.
Mentality as well.
Absolutely, he's got a late winner against Wolves in a very beautiful goal. So I think the emergence of Kobe Meno has been, because we are looking at potentially £100 million or more player.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to get into it. Yes, once you hear the bell, you already know it's time and it's an opportunity for you to win. Now, of course, I will explain all the opportunities that are available to you in terms of winning, but let me first of all give you the question. Because without the question, you cannot win anything. Our question for the day, this is our Super Sub question. 6 goalkeepers have scored a Premier League goal. Which of these has not? A. Hugo Lloris. B. Tim Howard. C. Peter Schmeichel. Now remember, our terms and conditions apply 100%. All entries must have the hashtag Budweiser Kings of Football Show, as well as the hashtag the KOF Super Sub, so we can differentiate what you're answering on the platform. And winners will be chosen at random. There will be one winner every week, and that winner will get 50,000 naira. But having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you guys again of our Predictor platform, where we get everybody an opportunity to win huge. Remember at the start of the show, I mentioned that you stand a chance to win a lot of prizes. Well, this particular one is our predict and win a game, and you can win 1 million naira, 500,000 naira, or even 250,000 if you come first, second, or third, respectively. How do you do that? Well, all you need to do is go to our website, which is www.budweiserfootballpredictor.com, and simply go on the platform and make predictions on games that will be played week in, week out. Let me remind you guys that on our X Space, you have a chance to win on our predict and win. And we'll only be picking 1 entry per person. If you have 2 entries as for your handle, well, you're going to be disqualifying yourself. So we only need you to make 1 entry per person. And of course, 3 people will be winning 15,000 naira. Remember, I told you this show is the show that gives and keeps giving and continues to give. So we're going to continue giving. At some point in time, they will give you free Budweiser as well. You understand? Just keep it low right here. All right, let me throw this question at you. It's our Joker segment. We have, just a light-hearted question we like to put out. And I want to get your take on this. When you were at Wolves, who was Wolves' biggest rival?
West Brom.
So, would you rather score an own goal or miss a penalty?
I don't see myself scoring or missing the penalty.
Oh, wow.
Against the arch rival. So, OG all day.
Own goal? Why?
You rather score an own well, I get it. I get the logic.
OG.
I mean,
miss a penalty.
You can't miss a penalty. Well, I know you're one of the best takers of a penalty.
Turn, everything done and dusted. See you later, alligator.
Wow, that's a good one. Biola,
OG
what
is
would
still
your take
excusable
be?
in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, I see the logic in an own goal because the most likely cause of an own goal is something that you didn't cause. Like it
Yeah.
was an error, maybe the ball hit you
It's
or something like
inevitable.
that.
You
Yeah,
have no
exactly.
control over the
But with a
situation.
penalty, you're absolutely responsible. And if you miss
It's
it,
at your
that
hands.
can be held against you. So I was thinking missing a penalty. But now that Seyi put it this way, at least with an own goal, you can put your hands I didn't know.
There's nothing I could do about that one.
But with a penalty, people tend to hold it against you more.
Yeah.
Because the feeling is you could have scored. How come you missed? So maybe
An own goal against Man
maybe an
City.
own goal. If the ball hits me and it goes into the net, I didn't know now, Jimmy.
Own goal against Man City.
But how about missing a penalty against City? 95th minute.
Hey. When I play football, I play as a striker. And
You find it when you're playing
just
because you always make it look as though
I'm at my level now. Did I
just
sign for any
just
club?
add it.
I'm not in the contention for anything.
Don't infer. Don't infer that.
I play recreational football with my friends and some other
absolutely.
old men that I
Around your
can run faster than.
neighborhood.
Old men with pot
In your
bellies are the people I play
neighborhood.
with. Are you happy now?
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel better.
So when I do play football, I've had situations where I've missed a penalty
yeah,
and I've consistently missed penalties, even though, I mean, you're the best
score,
striker, so they
you
ask you
miss,
to
yeah.
take the penalty. But your record has been great, but then I missed one.
Yeah.
And I went on a run of almost 20 penalties missed
Really?
back to back. And they kept asking me to play it.
what happened? Did you need to see a doctor for your eye? Or
It was just the goalkeeper and the post just became smaller. So I'm like, where am I going to put this ball? So I can understand this frustration of missing a penalty. It can
Yeah.
mess with your head.
Absolutely.
There's so much that goes into. Once you miss
Yeah.
one, then you're going into a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I came in as a sub once and my first touch was on goal.
Yeah.
That for me was the worst feeling.
Yeah.
Because even my teammates were like, Coach, why you bring this guy?
But that's them lacking grace because, like I said, most own goals were not.
Yeah, it was innovative. I was literally stretching to block the ball and it went in.
But I mean,
Yeah.
you caused it, but to some extent, you are not. It was not intentional,
It was not.
right? It was not intentional.
But I don't know which felt worse. I think missing the penalty, I agree with you. Missing a penalty is like, because you have it either to win the game or to save your team
Yeah.
or to even just cement that your
the
position.
most important point is that with a penalty, you are in charge.
Yeah.
If you played it right, you will have scored.
If
With an
you're
own goal,
mentally in tune.
yeah, with an own goal, you were doing your best to stop a goal, but it has unfortunately gone into the goal. I think that there's an implicit understanding, in that.
Fair enough.
Absolutely. I mean, what we're saying, if I may add to that, I mean, we're joking about this thing, but again, in the industry, I think we're missing a trick. The brain for me is the most important part. It's just like having a car and then talking about the color of the car, we talk about the body, we talk about the tires, but we leave the engine out. I don't think a lot of football clubs train the brain, which is what you're saying. Because if you go to play a penalty and then you keep scoring, there's that confidence that comes from that.
Yeah.
If you keep missing, then you doubt yourself
Yeah.
in a way.
Yep.
So the psychologist for me in modern football, in the world generally, I think, that's supposed to be the most important personnel for football players. Because if the brain is
100%.
right, every other thing falls in place.
100%. Let me go into our Twitter X space right now. If I'm gonna give anyone an opportunity, Pooja, let me come to you first, and then of course, Ekhu, my Arsenal fan, you're gonna speak. Pooja, tell me, would you rather score an own goal or miss a penalty against Arsenal? Yes, he's a Tottenham fan.
I'll go for own goal, but penalty, I would say Arsenal net. Which I would say the net. For own goal, of course, but penalty, the destiny is in my hand. Is either the keeper enter the net with the ball or I tear the net.
Papa say I tear the net. I love it, Pooja. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Noah Ruben, you haven't spoken yet. Tell me, would you rather score an own goal or miss a penalty against your rivals?
Sajimi.
I like the way you are hailing me. Finally, our fans me today.
I'm your number fan. Normally, your dress code, they bust my brain every day, right? Day by day.
Oh.
I would rather score an own goal against Tottenham as an Arsenal fan than miss a penalty. At least, I know that if I score an own goal, then my team can still cover me up and still score.
What if the own goal comes at the 95th minute of a 0-0 draw until that time?
Against Tottenham, I will just use fight to end it. The match cannot continue. We used to scatter
No, but
everywhere.
you see,
The
I
match
mean,
cannot continue.
I even feel like this question I asked you now, I should have thrown it at Seyi as well, because I mean, there's the mental struggle with scoring an own goal and the time of scoring the own goal as
And
well. The
consequence.
gravity of what that does as well. Because it's easy to say, yeah, I'd rather score an own goal because, yeah, we'll have a chance to get back in the game.
what I would say.
What if you don't have a chance to get back in the game?
What I would say is that
It's like what happened with Jorginho now. Let's put like what the scenario with Jorginho into place against Tottenham at.
Right.
That thing would have completely destroyed his whole mood for the game entirely. So that 90 minutes, scoring an own goal at that 90 minutes can prove costly to the whole team entirely. So I'd rather score it on the 5th or 4th minute or something.
Like, you know, when you score the own goal. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you. Biola, you're about to say something.
Yeah, I was just about to say that it depends on the consequence, right?
Right.
And now that you've created a context, if it's in 95th minute and the game is a draw, I'd rather miss a penalty.
And let's be, we saved the
because
point.
Then it's a point. That's got a penalty that now cost us.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's circumstantial. Depending on
because
the situation.
A draw, no matter what it is, a draw is always better than a loss.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Seyi, you agree?
Just imagine a Jorginho having a penalty in the 95th minute, 0-0, and just that 1 point to win that 3 points. You won't get an opportunity again until next season. Yeah. And then you think that's better than scoring an own goal.
No, but if he scores an own goal, they will lose 3 points.
They'll lose 3 points at that time.
If he scores an own goal, they will lose 3 points.
So I think it's circumstantial in terms of the time when it happens.
No, you can't eat your cake and have it now. Come on.
I appreciate everybody. I love this question. I mean, I must give a shout out to our in-house producers. They brought this aspect to the show. It's quite interesting.
It's actually interesting.
Have some light banter without having too much pressure.
To put you in situations where,
like wow.
Am I really sure?
We should take it easy on these players sometimes because if we were in their position, we'll struggle as well. Seyi Olofinjana, thank you so much. You're in transit at the moment and you still found a way to be a part of the show. We can't thank you enough. You are truly a king, and this show is a platform you can jump on at any time. You know, if you have any views you want to air, if you have anything you want to let the world know, this is home for you. We feel like you're our big brother right now.
Thank you so much, guys. It's always a pleasure coming on the show. Thank you. I like the light-hearted nature to it. I like the banter. I like the fact that people can sort of contribute on the space as well. It gives everybody an opportunity to sort of speak. I think it's not serious, and that's what I like about it. So please feel free to call on me anytime. Transit, at home, anywhere.
I got you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, big bro. And of course, last but probably not least,
I won't leave the studio today.
Ladies and gentlemen, Biola Kazeem, it's good to have you back. I don't like taking shots at you, but I have to because you support the wrong team. But, you know,
I support United. There's no wrong or right, man.
There's no wrong or right. But yeah, good to have you back.
United have won the league more recently than Arsenal.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's going to take you longer to win it than Arsenal. But having said that, Biola, it's a privilege to have you on the show. Your insights is unmatched. Even though Pooja would like to say he can match you, but it's a lie. It's unmatched. Thank you so much. Any last words?
Well, I mean, always a pleasure to be on the show. I feel like the next set of episodes of the show will be the most interesting.
I know, right?
As Quickie Bomb time kicks in, we're hoping nobody will run off to Marrakesh or Kigali this time around. If they do, I'm going to fly there and bring them back. I'm going to fly there and bring them back. We'll finish this show together. We can't start it. And then when it gets to the end, and there's an outcome that Jimmy doesn't like, he will tell us what project. This is a project too.
This narrative.
You will finish this project.
Stop this narrative. I'm not ready. I didn't run away. I'm not
You ran away, Jimmy.
I did not.
You ran away. We started posting pictures in Kigali. What?
I had work.
Kiga what?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you 100% for all our viewers, and of course those of you watching in, of course, Nigeria, talking about Enugu, talking about Delta State, talking about Imo's everywhere across the East. Remember, you can get to watch us on YouTube every Monday after the weekend's games. We'll be putting this up on YouTube for you. We're available on Spotify as well for those of you that like to catch the audio version of the show. Remember, you can and must always enjoy with the best. The best is the one that we call King. So I must say a big shout out to Budweiser, the King of Beers, for doing what they've done and keeping us out here. Remember, It is the Kings of Football show. I am Jimmy, saying peace, love, and respect.